People are afraid of getting in a car and being in an accident more than they are this, and we don't talk about it enough. I'm talking about stress, the silent killer. This is a silent killer. What is stress? Stress is the state of worry and mental tension. It is a state of worrying and mental tension caused by difficult situations. And I wrote some notes down so that I can stay on topic and stay focused, because when you shine light on something, you take away the fear from it, the unknown from it. Okay? When you shine a light on it, it's like, okay, I see what that is now. I thought it was something weird and creepy, but actually not as scary as I thought it was. So what I want to do and what I do on this channel is get to the root of things. This is how we make true lasting change, the root of things. I'm also going to empower you and equip you with something free that will change your life and relieve the stress. But you need to understand what stress really is. We like to call things or name things, but if we don't truly understand what it is, it doesn't make the impact that it needs to. And we're running a story in our mind about how we're anxious, how we're depressed, how we're stressed, but do we truly understand what those things are? The underlying issue for anxiety and depression is stress on your body. Now, we have a nervous system. These are wirings running through our body, and it's picking up the information in our environment and in our gut, and it's sending it to our brain. It filters it through the hippocampus, which is what sends the stress hormones rushing through our body. So if we're getting a signal that we are in danger, then our body automatically flips a switch, and it's going to send adrenaline and cortisol through our body. In waves, it's going to flush our body with adrenaline and cortisol. Now, think of yourself as having a battery. A battery has a capacity. It can only fit so much. That's why they have numbers for certain types of batteries. That's why there's certain sizes, right? You only can fit so much into a battery. When you overload a battery, what happens? It starts to expand, it starts to bust. That pressure builds up. That's just like us. When we overload our system, that pressure builds up. And then we start to have leaks in certain areas, right? We feel like we're going to explode. Sometimes we do explode. We feel burned out. We start to have these mental disorders, dis-ease in our body. It creates a lot of things. This is an underlying cause to a lot that's happening in our body. Think about when a storm comes through, lightning strikes, the wind's blowing, it's sending a surge through the electricity in our homes. It hits the technology, and what happens? They short circuit, right? They shut down. It's a surge sometimes. It's like shut off and back on, right? Because they're built to do that. When it overloads, it cuts off. Just like us. It was too much power, too much energy at one time. It overloaded the circuit. It cannot operate any longer. It shuts off. Our prefrontal cortex is our logical, rational mind. It shuts off when we are overloaded. We do not get to choose that. All right? We choose how we respond, but we have to practice that. And I'm going to tell you the different things that we can do. But even before that, it's not even a logical thing. We cannot think logically about this. It's in our body. This is our senses. So we have to approach it from that angle, not thinking about it. So the prefrontal cortex, our logical, rational mind that can say A plus B equals C. When this happens, that happens. This will happen. If I do that, this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. That's making decisions, being an adult, blah, blah, blah. If you're an adult, you should know how to not do that. You should know not to react that way, blah, blah, blah. Well, people aren't coming from that standpoint. All right? What we are coming from is the emotional place. It's the fear center, the amygdala. That part of our brain is the fear center. That's the driver now. And it's not even really driving. That's like us hitting the gas and going like this. Ah! We're just going through life like this. Ah! Our eyes are actually closed. Our eyes would be the logical mind because we can see and process the information, but we can't. We're just like, I feel like I'm going fast. I don't know what I'm going to crash into. Again, that fear because we can't see. So let's shine the light on some things today. Okay. We're operating from that center, the fear center. That's the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. That's how our body is going to respond. We're going to freeze. We're going to fight, aggression. Okay. We're going to run. We're always running. We're going to isolate. Okay. We're going to try and people please and appease everybody around us. Although we know that's not what we really want. We don't feel good afterwards. We just do those things and we're like, why do I do that? Why am I like this? It's not you. It is your body trying to protect you. It's a natural human response. Human nature. That's all it is. Go easy on yourself, okay? All right? And so the thing is, the signal comes up. It's processed and interpreted as danger because our capacity has reached its max. Because there's a level, we're able to regulate. Okay, when these things happen, all right, we'll get a little adrenaline, a little cortisol. We're able to maneuver. Heart rate's faster because blood vessels constrict and it's got to flow faster. Heart's going to beat faster. So it's like, all right, that's adrenaline happening too. So I can get things done and do what I need to do so that I can come back down to baseline, the reset, right? Our central nervous system cannot reset though if we're constantly in a state of stress, okay? Let me come back to center myself. Okay. Like that right there. My heart was pumping faster. I'm trying to get this done because this is the third time of me recording. I'm talking faster, moving faster. My mind's trying to process everything just to get it out, to get it done. And this is what happens. Stress does not have to be physical danger. Stress does not have to be financial, relationships, something with your home. Stress can be the foods that we're eating, the substances we use, the caffeine. These are stimulants, okay? These are things that will send signals to our body that we're not at baseline. Your body can naturally heal itself, but we've been in such a state of chronic stress that we don't even know what that is anymore. So we have to train ourselves. We're reprogramming our mind. The only way we can do that, though, is to be in a state of alignment and of being present. But we're in stress, we're in a state of worry and mental tension. There's no way we can be in alignment. Alignment is your mind, heart, and coherence together. In the present moment, we realize this is what we have. And then we're able to respond with a clearer mind, come from a better place, right? So anyway, getting back to it, I like to get to the root cause of things, like I said. So we're going to get into the etymology of the word because you have to understand this. This is shining light on what is happening. Stress is hardship. It is adversity. It is pressure. Like I said, we're feeling this pressure being built up. What also stems from that is oppression, narrowness, narrow-minded thinking comes from this. Oppression makes people feel stressed. We feel oppressed. There are systems and outside things that intentionally oppress us and stress us. This is true. But I am here to empower and equip you, so we're not going to stay there, okay? The shortening of stress. Okay, the shortening of distress is stress. The word that stress comes from is distress. Distress is the circumstance that causes anxiety. If I say that I'm under distress, how would you view me? If you say you are under distress, how are you going to view yourself? It changes the meaning, right? It changes the story. If I think of somebody under distress, I think they need help immediately. They're under distress. They can't help it. Like, I need to go help, that type of a thing. You are under distress. We just changed the word and it sounds milder, but we are under distress. White flag, right? Distress also means a feeling of being hindered. It means coerced apart. It means compelled, like the news and everything we see compels us to feel apart, separated. When you are separated, you feel lack. When you are separated, you don't have what you need. So now my story that I'm telling myself is that I am under distress. I'm in a circumstance that causes this anxiety. I feel hindered and I'm not equipped. Another root word is strain. This is something to understand. Strain means anguish, grief, pain, suffering of the body and mind. Does that sound like something you feel? You have felt? It is being afflicted with mental and physical pain. To make miserable or to damage is distress. To damage. Do you feel damaged? These words, like I said, you have to understand it, because if you feel stressed, that means you're under distress, which means you feel damaged. You're going to feel miserable. Misery loves company, right? We're going to sit around and we're going to talk about what makes us feel miserable, because that's the story we're going to keep repeating, because we're under distress, because we feel hindered and set apart, which is going to create anxiety, of course. It's going to create depression, tension, and tightness. You feel compressed, restricted. These are all root words of what you're feeling. You have to understand this, because that is a story you're telling yourself. Not to say that these things aren't happening. Like I said, a lot of these things can be intentional. Some of these are from our lifestyle and our behavior. And at the end of the day, we have habits and behaviors and a story that influences our world, our reality, our personal reality. And then that creates our personality, how we show up in this world. So if I believe that I am under distress, I'm miserable, and I'm going through the world holding those emotions, and I'm only operating from the fear center because I've reached my max capacity, and I just keep dumping stressors and stimulants and these things into my body, and I keep consuming these things that are coercing me, compelling me to feel this way, to feel the fear, to be focused on these things. That's the energy that I'm holding in my field, and we are electromagnetic beings. We have a field around us, at least 6 feet out. And then I'm going to go through the world, and I'm going to put that in the world, and I'm going to affect the people around me, and it's going to be a chain reaction. Because if you know anything about sound, you have 2 sounds at different waves, but eventually they're going to sync up. Again, misery loves company. Because when you're a little different, it makes that feel a little different. It's like, wait a second, I know I'm supposed to feel this way. No, that's a story you've told yourself. That's all you know. That's your interpretation of what's happening. Your body's just been protecting itself from what's happening outside of you, what's happening inside of you. We need to change some things. But the first step, awareness, which is what we're doing in this video. The next one is a simple tool. It is free. You did it when you first came into this world out of your mother's womb. Was breathe. Let's get back to the basics. Breathe. Focus on your breath. If you can focus on your breath, breathe. I have it tattooed because it's so important to me. In through your nose. Hold at the top. And breathe out through your mouth slowly, as if you're blowing through a straw. When you breathe in, you feel the air. Make sure your rib cages are pushing out. And then when you breathe out, we blow out all the stress, all the frustration, all that shame, whatever it is that's coming up, we blow it out. That's that hot air. Blowing all that out. And we just do that until we feel our heart slow down. Because when we are stressed, when you're anxious, your heart is going to race. Again, adrenaline is flowing through your body. Cortisol is flowing through your body. Your blood vessels contract, and then it's flowing faster. Your heart is going to beat faster. Now, if you're depressed, it's going to beat slower. You're going to be slouched. It's going to be harder to breathe. So you're a shallow breather. You're probably breathing through your mouth. I can only breathe with so much, right? I can't contract my lungs, my diaphragm as much if I'm hunched over, right? So if you're depressed, you need to sit up. Change your posture. Okay, sit up and then breathe. But if you're depressed, you're going to breathe faster. If you're anxious, you're going to breathe slower, because we need to slow the heart rate down. If you're depressed, you need to get it going, right? After a bit of that, we can still hold, feel into your body, and then we'll release. And then you just repeat that a couple times. I like 4-4-4 method. Okay, 4 of everything. All right. But we're just coming back to our breath. It's simple. It's free. Like I said, it was the first thing you did when you came into this world. And then we cried. Sometimes you need to cry. Let it out. Release it. Through my journey, I went through a dark night of the soul. Okay, the ego death. You have this identity, this profile we have, this character who we've always been, who we only know. They talk a certain way, they act a certain way, they have the story, they feel different things, they've experienced different things. You're gonna have to grieve that person to let them go. You go through the stages of grief. But while I was going through this, which I didn't know exactly in the moment that's what was happening, but I was letting these things go, shedding these layers of myself, these old identities, and learning who I truly am inside. And being safe to show up as that person was one, like I said just now, to feel safe inside. And, you know, I had did the physical things and worked out and, you know, did that. And I was eating better, so I did that. But now it's these emotions, these feelings, more the spiritual side of things. And so I had to let go of some things. I had to let these things come to the surface and let them go. And I would just randomly cry. And I didn't cry. Whenever I cried, it was like somebody gonna get hurt. You know, like if I cry, somebody get, like, that's what we got going to. Otherwise, I don't really cry like that. If I see somebody else cry, I'll cry, but or I'll feel tears, or I'll feel emotions come up. But actually letting them out, that didn't happen very often. But when I was going through this time period, it just would happen. It just randomly I would cry, and I'm like, why am I crying? You know, but I let it happen. I just let it happen. I didn't hold it in. When I was feeling it, I let it happen, and I was just like, I didn't identify with it. I was just processing, like, okay, what's coming up right now? Where am I feeling this at? Not what is it? Not is it me? Where do I feel it? I felt it in my heart a lot. So I knew I had some things in there I need to let out, that I was holding on to. I had to defrost the heart, you know, that rigidity needed to loosen up, which means there's going to be some things that come to the surface and come out. And that's okay. You need that water baptism. Let the water flow. And then there came a period of time where I would be laughing while I was crying. And then I would cry into a laugh. And then I didn't cry as often. Now I know, you know, how to let it out. You know, I know when certain emotions are coming up and what that is. It doesn't mean it's a weakness. It doesn't mean I'm sad all the time. I mean, we cry when we're happy. Like, there's a fine line between excitement and fear. Like, adrenaline flows through either one of them. Your heart races through either one of them. But it's the interpretation. I mean, it's what's happening in front of you, of course, but it's the interpretation as well. Somebody loves to cliff jump. They find excitement. It's still going to get adrenaline going. For others, that's fear. That's death. I'm not going to do that. Although they probably survive because we got all the mechanisms and stuff nowadays, technology. But they're just so fearful that they're not going to do it. But it's going to send the same hormones through our body. It's the story we tell ourselves. And yes, like I said, the physical environment, there are oppressions in our environment. There's things that hinder us, or we feel hindered by them. But again, I want to equip you and empower you that we need to look at this differently, because that's how they get us. That's how there is mental warfare happening, mental slavery. We are held back and we are blocked, and sometimes we do it to ourselves. It's self-sabotage from the old story that we've played, because that's all we know. That's that programming that's happening inside. You're watching this, that means you know something needs to change. You're sick and tired. You're over it. You're looking for something. You don't need any more information. You just need to start practicing simple things such as posture and breath. When you do that, you come back to the moment, and in this moment you understand that you are just who you are, and you are safe. And you give yourself that time because you love yourself and you're worthy of it. Now we're starting to build that internal capacity for love over the fear, for faith over the fear. It's a practice that we do. Any instrument, any skill, any talent, any sport, you have to practice. It doesn't happen automatically. These are muscles in your mouth. You got to practice smiling. If you haven't done it in a while, you have to practice it, because it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable if you don't do that. You got to practice it. So give yourself some time in the bathroom, sitting on the toilet, taking a shower, sitting in your car, in transition, before work, during lunch, after work, before you go into the gym, after the gym, before bed. Give yourself that time to do that. Some days it's 2 minutes. Some days it's just a moment of, all right, I got this. Some days it's 20 minutes. But we're resetting in that moment is what that is. So I hope that you found something in this video. Like I said, this is the third time that I've done this. A little disappointed because those are some really good takes and information. But I hope that I hit on everything and you got something out of this video. I just want to end with the fact that this is a natural human response. But when we're living in constant state of stress, of pressure, of distress, of course our life is going to look and feel a certain way. Of course the story we're going to tell ourselves is going to be a certain way. If you watched a movie and the character always felt those things, what does that look like? We have to then tell a new story. But we have to feel it in our body first. We have to be it. The only way you can be it is to be present in the moment. And you have to be intentional about that. When we do this, we come out of the fear center. We go into the prefrontal cortex. We release the need to have the stress hormones flowing through our body because we are safe. We're training ourselves to do this. We're training our body to do this, not our mind. We're training our body to do this. Now the switch doesn't have to flick. Now we don't have to be overloaded. Now we can regulate and we can address the challenges and the threats when they come. Not before, but when they come, we can address them because we've equipped ourselves. We can make decisions now. We don't have to respond or we don't have to react. We can make more conscious decisions. We can have a clearer mind now. Whenever you go to, that's why people love vacations. Whenever you go to a beach by that water, when it's scientifically proven that helps, relieve the stress and that energy that you're carrying around. But it's because you're leaving a lot of that pressure and stress behind. But it's still there, right? When you get there, you can do that at any time during your day if you set aside the time, whenever you can. Like I said, sometimes you may have to sneak off to the bathroom, go around a corner somewhere, take a moment, breathe, and then get back to it. Okay? The way we respond makes the difference in our overall well-being. But we cannot respond from a logical mind if we're operating from an emotional mind. When your body is taking control, you cannot be in control of that. Your body's going to do what it needs to do to protect you, to keep you alive. And we are grateful for that. You should be grateful for it. Thank you for all of those things. Thank you for that. It was needed for the time, but I no longer need that. I no longer need it. I am more capable now. I'm able, because we're practicing this, so we will be. I'm working on it every day. I'm getting better every day at being able to respond better. I'm getting better at it. I'm becoming someone who can respond better. I'm becoming someone who doesn't have as much anxiety and stress. I'm becoming someone who can handle it, who has a bigger capacity, and who knows how to regulate, and who knows how to express the emotions instead of reacting, instead of suppressing them. I know and I can identify what's happening in my body now because I've learned that. And I'm able to express it. I'm able to vocalize it. I'm able to move my body and get that energy out. I'm able to write it down. I'm able to jump up and down. I'm able to sing. Send those vibrations so that I'm safe. It's okay to relieve that. Shake it out. Okay? So, like I said, this one is picking up now. I hope that you found something in this that will empower you, that equips you with what you need to take the first few steps, to start to practice being and breathing. Right? And then from there, we can start to reprogram the mind and edit that story, co-create on the story, start to write a new story. And from that, we have a new script, and that's what we say, and that's how we move through the world, all right? But first, the simple things. We're going to start there. You got this. If you don't see it, we need to be it, but we have to be, okay? To be able to be that, to be able to show up. And as always, continue to shine on. All right, y'all. Take care. Until next time.